What's the deal, man? It's your boy Rsonist, Heatmakerz in the building. You already know what it is, man. I'm chilling with my homeboy, Mikey T, the movie star. Report Card Radio, you know what it is, man. Dipset in the building. Holla at your boy, Heatmakerz. Crack music.
So how did you find out that you were going to be working with Juelz on the From Me to You album?
We was just, you gotta remember, like, if you really picture what it is, like, you gotta remember Cam was already an established artist when he started Dipset, and Jim was running around with Cam, so, you know, by default, Jim was kind of like a successful artist because he was traveling around with Cam, and whoever Cam knew, Jim kind of knew, but Juelz was the new artist, and I was the new producer. So me and Juelz would always keep in contact and talk and you know, call each other. And I'd be like, yo, I got this beat I want to send to you. And he'd be like, yo, bring it through. And I'd go to Harlem, drop off a CD to him. He would write to it. We'd meet up in the studio later that night and he would just record. Like, we just did that over and over again until we did 12 records on that album. One more than Diplomatic Community. We did 12. So me and Juelz just always had a crazy working relationship, man. Like, just always working.
Juelz's album was released under Def Jam. Jim Jones came out under Koch.
Right. Jim, you got to remember, around that time, Jim was just really getting his feet wet with rapping. Jim wasn't like a solidified rapper that everybody knew. He was kind of, see, Jim is a hustler, so he's looking at it like, I'm next to two dudes that's at the top of the rap game right now, and I'm right in the middle. Why am I not rapping? I'm sure that was his mind frame, which made perfect sense. But again, labels are like any other business. If they don't see a track record of your work, they're not going to invest. So, you know, like Juelz was on the single with Cam, Oh Boy, and Oh Boy was like Def Jam's biggest single. So it was only right that they gave Juelz whatever deal he wanted because he proved himself on that record. And Cam, like I said, Cam was already hot before he came to Def Jam, so it was a no-brainer to give him the deal. So Jim just had to prove himself, and that's why he went to Koch.
So Jim Jones' On My Way to Church album followed. What do you remember most about recording with Jim on his debut?
I just remember more so giving Jim beats and not really knowing, because I didn't know Jim's plan at the time. You know what I mean? Like I told you, Jim is a hustler, so I was just doing records with him, and he turned those records into a deal at Koch at that time where Koch was giving people like $6-7 a record, and he just manipulated that whole situation into his favor. And, you know, it went from On My Way to Church into him doing records like Ballin' independently. So, but I don't, like, again, around those times, I just remember giving Jim beats because, again, he was down with Dipset, and whoever was down with Dipset, I was trying to help out the best I could, and the same way they was trying to help me out.
So was there any difference to the producer like you working on a project that was under Def Jam with Juelz and a project under Koch with Jim?
I mean, obviously there's going to be a money difference because one is backed by a major corporation and one is independent, and, you know, the budgets aren't as big. But again, if the independent sells even a third of what the major sells, the producer should make more money depending on the deal they worked out. But, you know, back then, everybody just wanted the big upfront money, so it wasn't as enticing to do a deal or to work with an artist that was on Koch. But again, Jim was Dipset, so for me, it didn't really matter. I just wanted to make sure I gave him the best material possible.
That's what's up, man. So you were actually going in on the Jim Jones project as hard as you were going in on a Def Jam release. Could you say that?
I do that with everything. To me, it don't matter where it's getting released. I just look at it like my name is on the line. You know what I mean? Like, again, if Def Jam gives you a huge check, it's all recoupable anyway. They make their money back before you see a dime. So the big check looks good, but it's the same. First of all, you're gonna make less dealing with a major. You might get a bigger upfront, but the percentage you have to pay that upfront back with is smaller, so you're gonna make less. But with an independent, if you can sell, again, like a quarter or a third of what you would sell on a major, you're going to see a huge return, producers and artists included, if your paperwork is correct. So I go as hard on any project because I just know my name is on the line, and I don't want people listening to me, no matter what platform it's on, thinking that somehow my music fell off. You know what I mean? So I go as hard at any project I'm doing.
No, it's evident, man. Look what Jim Jones did with Ballin'. He put out a single that any major record label would have loved to have.
Yeah, of course, but the labels and the A&Rs stopped being relevant years ago. You know, whether they figured that out or not, the game kind of pushed them out because the music game is now centered around independent distribution. So it's a different ball game.